Today on this Warhammer 40k game summary, we have the Astra Militarum, also known as the Imperial Guard, combined regiment going after the Necron Awakened Dynasty. So if you're wondering how these two armies match up against each other, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to take this 3-hour game. We're going to condense it down into about 25 minutes, give you all the things that worked, what didn't work, what we learned, and simply pass the knowledge on to you. Because I really do believe if one of us gets better, we all get better. So I'd really appreciate if you stuck around, because I think even if you're not a Necron or a Guard player today, you're going to get a lot of value out of this video, just because we're going to be talking about just a lot of strategies and tactics in this current meta from a macro perspective that hopefully you can apply to your army as well at home, and just overall makes you feel like a better player going into your next game. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we have today taken hold diagonal deployment, hidden supplies. All right. And Tom is a fellow teammate of ours. And I'll tell you, man, this guy, you know, it's hard not to like the guy. He's usually in our live streams, hanging out with some colorful commentary. I mean, if we even pay attention to how committed he is to his Imperial Guard, he has a dice that is exactly the same color as his army to keep track of his CP. So this man is committed. And I would like to say that the lists are going to be linked down below. So go ahead and check those out via Pastebin if you'd like while you're following along. He did also mention before this stream started that I was not allowed to update this battle report. He said hard no. He's like, my family will not shame me for not tagging this unit with the Lehman Russ, which we're going to talk about in a second, or the families of the 600 points of Imperial soldiers who were sacrificed to primary denial for the opponent to score 50 points, which is also a spoiler. But then, of course, he says, just kidding, go ahead and upload away. Excited for the micro of this report. So hopefully Tom appreciates that. So let's switch over to the battle report, shall we? So 100 to 83 to the Crons. Now, we both scored 50 on this game, which I don't know. I mean, as you maybe expect, he's got a lot of Toroxes. He's got a lot of Scions. He's got Catachan. He's got Toroxes. Guard are really good about putting things on objectives, especially in hidden supplies, but so are the Warriors as well. So going into this matchup, more or less what I'm thinking about is, one, I really do not care about any of his tanks, his Rogaldorns, his Lehman Russes, all of that good stuff, because he doesn't really have a good way to one-shot the Warriors, okay? So mainly what I'm trying to focus on is how can I eliminate his infantry as fast as I can? And I will say it does help with my army because I have a lot of strength 6 profiles. Obviously, the majority of his army is toughness 3, so I get a lot of high value out of the profiles that are in my army, which is really nice. And more or less, I knew that we were going to be scoring relatively well on primary on both sides. And then it really just kind of came down to secondaries this game, as you can see from the scorecard. And I would really like to highlight throughout the game and showcasing that, yeah, Tom necessarily didn't really get some ideal polls. I would be the first to say that. But I will say as well that this list really does, especially in the early game, naturally deny a lot of secondaries that usually your opponents are not used to. And that definitely helps in terms of potentially winning games. So let's get into this game here. So Tom ends up going first, and he has got Assassination and Recover Assets. So Assassination off the rip is going to be kind of rough, just because all of my characters are hidden, and they're not going to be able to get interacted with it. So he's mainly just going to get Recover Assets, and that's going to be it. So we're going to, as you know from our battle reports, we're going to fast forward here and see what the turn ends up looking like. And this is more or less it. He's going to park some Gaunt's Ghosts on the objective here, which have Lone Op, which are great. He's got a Torox over here where he conveniently placed where he can essentially get the guys 3 inches out this way behind a wall, or if he needs to and really pressing, he can get him out this way, but he's really probably not looking to do that. And this is really showcasing, like just in any army, what transports can do. They really do create a headache for just a lot of different situations, especially when they're played correctly. And Tom does a fantastic job of that. just with getting a lot of reps with this army. So, you know, great placement on his part, and he simply passes the turn on to me. So we are going to get a containment and established locus turn 1, and this is a good thing to highlight. You notice that I did not score established locus on the first turn, and that was actually a little bit of a deployment error on my part, which I can highlight here. So you're going to see that we were actually, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, we were playing, were we playing Search and Destroy? Yeah, we were playing Search and Destroy. I apologize. So that was like an incorrect deployment on the other screen. So we have Search and Destroy. So mainly we're in this table quarter, and I made a slight mistake here where I should have put the Scorpec Lord on this corner here, just to potentially either move him out as like a threat turn 1 or using him for locus. I could have used Xeris probably in this matchup as well turn 1, just because Guard don't really have like the biggest way to kill him. So that was definitely kind of an oversight on my part. I think I just kind of defaulted to my normal game plan on this this layout, and so just something I wanted to highlight. Slight error there where I should have deployed a little bit differently. So going into my turn, we are going to get containment though pretty easily. I'm going to fast forward here just so you see my movement going into the bottom of 1. So we're going to have these flayed ones here. They're going to contain, and then we're going to have Mr. Scorpec Lord over here contain, since it is Search and Destroy. So we're going to get 6 for there, and then we're going to pass it over to him. And then this was the thing that I was talking about with Locust, where I did make a slight mistake, where I probably should have swapped something out, or maybe put like a Scorpec Lord in there or something, and then, you know, get him out in Locust. So just a little bit of an oversight on my part there. But going into his turn 2, the man's going to get a 10 on primary, because we are going to deny this one, and you're going to notice that we actually don't kill the Taurox. So one thing that I was mainly looking to do is the Tauroxes aren't exactly the hardest thing to kill. They're just T8, 9 wounds, something like that. And so the Warriors can do a decent amount of chip damage to it, which is what we did. And then we fired a couple, I think we did some indirect shots at it because nothing else was in range. And then we fired Xeris at it. So we got it down to like 1 or 2 wounds, which was more than fine, because you don't want to create this scenario where he gets the guys out, you auto-see him on the point. And I was relatively okay with that, just because if he does want to move the Taurox, it's an actual nice Overwatch threat where I can kill it. Or if he wants to get the guys out, there's enough Warriors there where it's also a nice Overwatch threat, as you can also see from the hex mark, with a nice 18-inch coverage range here, if he wants to do anything like that. So going into his turn, he's going to get a 10 on primary. He's going to get established locus overwhelming force. He does cycle overwhelming force in the first turn or the second turn, because of the fact that if you look at the board state, the only thing that's here is Warriors, and he knows that he does not have the output to kill the Warriors, so it indirectly denies overwhelming force because he doesn't have anything that can really interact with this unit to kill it. So he is going to get marked for death, which unfortunately was another dud pull. We essentially just nominate these 3 units in the back and call it a day. That is one card I really hope they change in the upcoming mission update over the summer, because I feel like the only time that mark for death really comes into play is like turn 5, and you know, there's not much left on the table. Otherwise, it just, most of the time, it's just a feels bad card, which is kind of annoying. Unless it's like an uppy downy army, because you prevent them from potentially going up or getting 5 points. But other than that, it's very, you know, a lot of times it's just not a good card. So he's only going to get a 2 on primary this turn, which is kind of unfortunate, and he's going to start shifting up more resources. So we're going to see that play out here. And again, this is bottom of 2. So we're going to look at the board state here. And more or less, this is what you're looking to do here, where I'm putting a lot of OC on each one of these points, so it does force him to commit a lot of resources early, and that's what he was talking about in terms of like the 600-point commit for primary denial going into turn 2, because he's committing all of this here, he's committing all of this here, and all of these guys here, which is what I want him to do. Like, he's really synergizing into the game plan where I want to get all of this little stuff off the table, because at that point, like, these Lehman Russes and Rogaldorns aren't going to be able to auto-see me, because really the only other thing that I have to worry about after that is just this big brick and this unit in here, and then that's it. So he does successfully out-OC me on most points, but it wasn't quite enough to get me fully off because of reanimation tricks with the warriors. So what we end up doing is we actually ingress in a Hexmark destroyer right here, which is why I just absolutely love these units for so many different reasons. And this is how they're coming in clutch again, because of the fact that he drops in a 10 bomb here of Scions, right? And I'm telling him, so there's no gotchas. He's gonna drop in. He's gonna stay within 18 inches of this brick right here, but he's outside of lone op range. So the Scions can't interact with him. And if he does shoot at the warriors like he wants to do, I'm going to be able to fire back with the multi-threat eliminator. And then on top of that, the Hexmark is going to be able to shoot again for his free overwatch in the fight phase. So he could literally pick up that entire unit in my turn. Because the Hexmark is also, if you notice here, is also within 6 of the king. So you can see that like that 6-inch aura here that he's covering. So he's also going to get the reroll ones to hit and wound. So it just makes the Hexmark so efficient into T3 infantry, like Guard, Orcs, Eldar, a lot of things that you're seeing in the meta right now. I think they're just going to be extremely efficient. I love them so much for so many different reasons. So we ingress in the Hexmark there, and he does not. That essentially neutralizes that whole unit from not wanting to really fire, and essentially passes it over to me. So what we do is we do the classic coherency trick. So I essentially remove a warrior to break coherency from the chain in order to essentially kill more guys. And you're going to see here and what ends up happening. So going into my turn, we're going to get a 10 on primary, and we're going to get Storm Hostile Objective and Bring It Down, which was like the perfect turn to drop Bring It Down. Apologies in advance, Tom. Just the way it goes sometimes, because literally I'm like, man, you drop Bring It Down, and I got 3 transports just sitting right in front of me. 2 Toroxes, freaking Hellhounds. I'll take that all day. So essentially, we're just lining up the shots to kill this Torox and just sequencing things correctly. So we're shifting the king out here so he can fire his Mineers and all of his stuff at this, because the only clapback is this Lehman Russ coming up this way, and that's not going to do anything to the king. So we're basically going to kill that there. You do see that we line up a Scorpec Lord, again, as a insurance policy. That's one for newer players, a good thing just to get in the habit of, is having some sort of backup plan for your shooting if things go wrong. So like if for some reason he crazy spikes, I don't kill that transport, at least I have a Scorpec Lord that can come in on a 5-inch charge and then still clean this thing up. Or you notice he can go this way as well. So it gives me a couple different options there. So essentially going into my turn, that's all we're looking to do. We're going to get a 10 on primary. We're going to storm one of these objectives here. We're going to clean up the transports. We're going to clean up the Ratling snipers and the Catachan, and call it a day. So you're going to see that play out here. And that is essentially the turn. So we get rid of all the transports. We leave 4 Catachan left, and we pass it over to him. So going into his turn, he is going to get a 10 on primary again, and he's going to get Defend Stronghold and Storm Hostile, which is a decent pull this turn. No way I'm going to be able to interact but Defend Stronghold. And Storm Hostile Objective is definitely going to be automatic here. He can just move guys up onto this objective right here and just take it, which is going to be pretty easy. So this is top of turn 3. Let's see how this plays out here. So this is essentially his movement phase like we expected. He's moving up the Lehman Russ over here to get onto this objective. He's got a Lehman Russ right here to push up. Rogaldorn's going to come out, do some firing. So he's shifting up more resources. And then you're going to see Mr. Scorpec Lord in the corner here. Let me move this down here a little bit so you can see. There we go. Sorry about that. So this Lehman Russ here is also going to interact with this Scorpec Lord, which the Scorpec Lord you're going to see just holds up that entire flank entire game. This is just showcasing how good this guy is. Like, just being super annoying, just locking things down. It's great. So, going into his top of 3, we're in the shooting phase. And this is more or less how it plays out. And this is kind of one big error that he made in the game. So he does charge in a Leman Russ here, as you can see. I believe he also charges in the Torox as well. And you can see here that he doesn't charge this Leman Russ in. So we end up pulling a model here to essentially break coherency. So these models here at the end of the turn are all going to die. And then essentially what that does is it also takes me out of combat. So in a way, you're kind of getting like a free fallback and shoot or a free fallback and charge if you sequence it correctly. Again, this is something that's like very tricky to pull off, and you kind of need like the perfect situation to do it. But it is a little bit of a tricksy play, not a gotcha by any means, but it is quite tricksy. So that's essentially what happens going into turn 3. And you're going to see we're going to reanimate all of these warriors back over here, trying to get more shots on his infantry. And going into turn 3, we're going to get a 15 on primary because we are going to hold these 3 objectives. And then we are going to get extend battle lines, cleanse, which I cycle, and we get secure no man's land because I knew this was a push turn for me, and I don't need units sitting on objectives doing actions. That did not sound very exciting. So we're going to get extend battle lines. We're going to get secure no man's land already. So that's an easy 10 points. And I'm like, all right, I just got to focus on just killing stuff. So this was the turn that I was like, okay, the king's going to come out and play at this point, bottom of 3. So he's going to, actually, no, he does not come out yet. So the king's going to shift here. Same thing. He's just going to shoot everything at the Leman Russ and probably pick it up because he doesn't have, moving him in a way so he doesn't have cover. So he's going to be saving on like 6s, I think. And then everything else is going to shift here to kill all of these resources here. So pretty simple turn. You're going to see that play out here and what we pick up. So we didn't end up killing the Leman Russ, and then this is still a stalemate up here with the Skorpek Lord. And then we're going into top of 4 now. He is going to get a 15 on primary because he is going to hold these 3 objectives. And then he is going to get cleanse, area denial, which he cycles, and then he's going to get extend battle lines. So cleanse he's going to get for 1 this turn, which I think was on this objective right here. And then you're going to see him, again, shifting up the next wave of resources to try to go in for primary denial. And then this was a pretty good play on his part. He chose charge in the Rogaldorn and the unit of infantry here, which are all a crazy amount of OC. They're like all OC3 or OC4. So definitely a good way to deny me on primary. So he does charge in. The Crypto Thralls, unfortunately, end up just whiffing. That was like those attacks like really going through that could have really chopped up that unit. And then the Skorpek Lord he positioned in a way that didn't really have an option to heroic intervene. But I also needed to respect the fact that I didn't want these Catachan coming out and charging the warriors to take the point as well. So I needed to keep him there as well for heroic intervene threat. So you're going to see that play out here. So that's essentially the board state at top of 4. And then going into the bottom of turn 4, we are going to get a 10 on primary, and we get sabotage, which we cycle. We get sabotage and defend stronghold. So sabotage was an interesting one. I end up this late in the game with all of his resources forward, and especially all of these Meltas here, but I end up moving Xeris back here to sabotage, and then the king is now going to shift over here and use all of his resources to try to pop the Rogaldorn, and then he's going to use his star shots, or those 12 shots at 611, and clean up this unit over here. So we're going to position it in a way where the king can still essentially be on this objective to make sure that he doesn't get primary for this, but then also be in combat with this Rogaldorn. All right? So you're going to see that play out here. We're going to shift them up, do the things that we talked about. And the warriors are obviously, they're going to fall back, and you can see we killed enough of this unit here to really deny his primary. So at the end of this is essentially the board state going into top of 5. So the king doesn't end up killing the Rogaldorn. I think he was down to like 6 or 7 wounds. So rolled well in the invul saves and everything else. So that happens. I didn't necessarily expect to kill the Rogaldorn because the Rogaldorn has some sort of, I think, like blanks the damage or like minuses your damage or something like that for one of them. And it's a tough vehicle. I mean, it's T12, so, and it's got like 18 wounds or 16 wounds, so it's a tough thing to chew through. But other than that, so going into turn, top of turn 5, he's going to get 15 on primary. He's going to get Bring It Down and no prisoners. He cycles Bring It Down for behind enemy lines. And unfortunately, that was also a dud because, again, we are playing quarter deployment. So there's really no way that he can get in this area based on his units because he's got a Lehman Russ that's still tied up with this Scorpec Lord that can't go anywhere. He can't fall back here, and then this unit is too far away to do any sort of advance and charge, and this is all screened out. So we did a really good job like denying him his secondaries on that, but he's definitely going to score no prisoners. He cleans up this Locust Destroyer, I think, at the end, and then cleans up, I believe, this Scorpec Lord as well for an easy 4 points. And then at this point, we're looking at calling it. So I get a 15 on primary at the end, and then we score a sabotage, and then we're going to get recover assets and assassination. So pretty easy just because at the end of the game, we have, you're going to see this fast forward here. We have this character right here that we can kill, and then recover assets is super easy where we can just do it with the, what was it? The freaking Illuminor Xeris. And then just another unit back here. We couldn't, I believe the way the board state was, I couldn't actually, I think he screened out everything correctly where I couldn't actually still drop in his DZ to do it because I love bringing the hex mark up and then potentially getting like a 6-point recover assets turn 5. But other than that, and at 100 to 83 to the Crons, absolutely crazy game. Both scoring 50 on primary is like just freaking nuts. So that was like cool to see, and it just came down to a game of secondaries. And knowing this deployment with search and destroy, naturally, especially playing against Guard, that's one really good thing to point out if you stuck around this long. A little Easter egg is just thinking about search and destroy and how small of a deployment it is, where especially against a Horde army, like, I mean, Guard aren't exactly Horde, but they have a lot of bodies, that there's just no way you're going to be getting back there unless you're like charging with melee units. So it's like trying to go for like Locust or behind enemy lines or all these other ones in their backfield is just not going to happen, which is also the reason why I played my hex marks more aggressively in this game, because I knew there was just no way that they're getting back like in his backfield. Like it's not happening. So other than that, if you stuck around this long, seriously appreciate you watching. I'm going to go ahead and link 2 videos up top. And also as well, if you are interested in becoming a warlord of the channel, you can get access to my tournament prep videos and then also my TTS practice games in full length. So if you want to just watch like a full 3-hour game, be just hanging out playing, definitely have access to that now. And then if you're also interested in some one-on-one coaching, I primarily just play Necrons. So if you are a avid Necron player and you're just starting out or just looking to improve your game, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help out in that regard as well. But again, appreciate you, and we'll catch you in the next one.